It's check him, mouse and PC. The Flash is still getting one on a choose.
Ostomy is just gonna be going back and
There's no way.
chess between all of it. They're back towards the side. What is it? What is it?
1v5. So a little bit curious that they enforce on to the ult. They need to break it. It's isolated. Sees the one person. This would be a 1v5 clutch right now from Design. Pick gets the ult into Picks. Design wins the 1v5.
Welcome back to the Southern Esports Conference. My name is Nerds, and today I have a very special guest to help us break down the playoff brackets, standings, and much more. Ayachu, welcome to the desk.
The amount of knowledge I have about the SEC is not comprehensible to the average person.
Sure. More importantly, the SEC playoffs are here, and there is so much more to these collegiate teams than we initially realized.
Heck yeah, there is.
Throughout the regular season, we have seen everything from reverse sweeps to dominating victories.
Human sacrifices!
Sure, yeah, exactly. Each match was a showcase of skill, and it really refined our expectations of these teams. And now we're just down to the top 6 best of them.
I think all SEC teams are good in their own right, but objectively speaking, these 6 teams are the best.
Let's start things off with our #1 seed, University of Texas Austin, or UT. Texas has been dominating the competition, finishing the regular season with a perfect 6-0 record.
Not only that, but they're also the only team to go undefeated in the regular season, and they're reigning back-to-back champions in the Southern Esports Conference. And their mascot is so adorable. I mean, look at him.
And honestly, it's no wonder with a lineup like this. Their starting roster consists of Alim, Super Peppa, Dragon, Oyasumi, and Kess, with an impressive average player score of 89. But you better keep an eye on their star player, Alim. This guy's on another level with the highest average ACS in the entirety of SEC of 320, a 1.5 KD ratio, and a 78% cast.
When it comes to their regular season matchups, the only team to even take a map off UT was Western Kentucky, the current #2 seed. Other than that, every single match was super clean 2-0.
This has definitely solidified UT as the Goliath of our bracket, and for any other team to have a shot at winning, they'll likely need to get their way through Texas. Now, let's talk about our #2 seed, Western Kentucky University, or WKU. This team has been on a mission this season, currently holding a solid 4-2 record. Interestingly, their first 2 losses came at the start of the season, a pistol round warm-up, you know? But since then, they've bounced back with a consecutive 2-0 victories, dominating their opposition.
Indeed, a big turnaround. More importantly, have you seen their mascot? It's... what is that?
Are mascots how you judge the performance of all the teams?
Speaking of performances, let's talk about the roster. They've got Bullet, Dazai, Zeem, Hayden, and Exy holding it down with an impressive average player score of 87, but the player to watch here is definitely Zeem.
And Zeem has been putting up some big numbers, an average ACS of 284 and a 1.5 KD ratio. On top of that, a 74% cast rating. And it makes sense. This guy went absolutely nuts against NCSU, dropping 71 kills in the series. 71 kills!
Holy moly, 71 kills!
Yes, 71 kills. Next up, we have the University of Central Florida, or UCF. UCF wrapped up the regular season with a solid 4-2 record. While they had a loss against Texas and Clemson, they also managed to secure a clean 2-0 win against every other team that they faced. Interestingly enough, their starting 5 have the highest overall rating we have seen in the SEC, with an average of 90. This roster includes Bear, Squirmer, Scotty, Powa, Perfis, with Powa being their star player selection. Io, what makes them so special?
Yeah, a 293 ACS.
Okay.
A 1.6 KD.
Love that.
And a 74% cast. Also, their mascot is named Nitro. Isn't that so cool?
Discord? Anyway, thank you, Io. Now let's talk about the newest contenders here in the Southern Esports Conference, North Carolina State University, or NCSU. Despite them being new to the conference this season, they've quickly made a name for themselves with an impressive 5-1 record.
Are the people who roleplay as mascots considered furries?
I'd have to say so, Io. Furthermore, their only loss was dealt to by the hands of UCF. Their starting lineup includes Fast, Bueno, Brits, Nuthium, Ranger J, and with an impressive average player score of 88. But let's talk about their standout player, Fast.
Yeah, I hope they play Neon. Oh, I just checked. They don't play Neon, but they have an ACS of 297, a 1.4 KD, and a 73% cast. He's been a consistent playmaker, securing critical frags and leading his team in pivotal moments.
With a 2-1 win over the second seed WKU, honestly, I'd definitely keep an eye on this Wolfpack. Next up, let's talk about University of Tennessee Knoxville, or UTK. The record might not look at all that impressive, being only 2-4, but don't let that fool you. They've put up some serious fights in each one of their losses.
Psst, listen, a record doesn't always tell the full story. Well, at least that's what my bronze friends always say.
Your friends? Taking a look at their lineup, we have Chus, Monk, Asset, Kelly, and Vinlick, with an average player score of 83. But their star player is Chus, who really steals the spotlight.
Oh, you're talking about the Chus?
That's right, the Chus, who has a player rating of 90 and is leading the entire SEC in frags with 317 cumulatively. He's got an average ACS of 285, a 1.3 KD ratio, and a 68% cast. And on top of all of that, leading the SEC in kills, he also holds the top spot for multi-kills and the top spot for first kills.
Yo, observers, please, keep the camera on this man.
Last but not least, we have Clemson University. Sitting at a 3-3 record, they've just had an up and down regular season, but don't count them out just yet.
Clemson's got some big plays up their sleeves, and they've shown that they can swing momentum when it matters most.
Their starting lineup consists of Epoch, Zuko, Milk Mango, King KFP, and Halo George, with an average player score of 83, but the key player here to watch is actually Epoch.
Absolutely. Epoch has an average ACS of 250, a 1.1 KD ratio, and a 70% cast. He's been the backbone duelist of their lineup, consistently stepping up in key moments.
I think it's time we talk about these matchups leading up into the playoffs, and what better place to start than UCF versus UTK. Now, UCF, they're currently 4-2, whereas UTK is 2-4.
I mean, nerds, is it even a question? Of course I'm voting for UTK. Their mascot is a little puppy. You see what's in my arm? A puppy.
I can see, I can tell. But statistically, it's currently 4-2. They're literally inverted within the stat lines. So for UCF, and then I believe that's the team with Nitro, they also have a funny mascot. So you got to give it to them at least in some brownie points. On top of the 4-2 scoreline, I'm gonna give my favorite to UCF. Yeah, Pawa currently 1.6 KD, higher ACS, pretty solid cast. Overall, feel like their star player shines a bit brighter for UCF.
That may be true, but Chus is leading the whole tournament in terms of kills.
Fair point, fair point.
Me personally, I do like risky players. Not going to lie.
All or nothing, you just put 50 on black and you see how it rolls. I mean, honestly, I can vibe with that too. It's nice to have some disagreements. Now, Chus might be leading the team, but it's the whole roster that makes up the deal. So I'm still going to favor UCF, but I like your style. I like that, the cut of your jib, right? I think having risky plays is fun, right? Makes the game a bit more interesting. You lock in triple duelist on Ascent and you run it down. But with this next matchup, I'm going to favor NCSU, and I think you might be in agreement and congruence with me, because it is currently 5-1 in the standings for NCSU. Clemson is 3-3. NCSU, in terms of their key player, I believe it's fast, so it's even more suited for the memery.
Indeed. I do agree with NCSU as the pick of this matchup.
Now that wraps up all the confirmed matches. We do have UT and WK getting a bye into the second round, so we don't know what matchup they're going to face, right? Starting off at the top of said bracket, it is going to be UTK versus UCF. And I said this previously, I have a strong suspicion, call it a gut feeling, that UCF is going to win, make it into the semifinals, and then UT is going to beat them, making it into the upper bracket finals. That's my run for the top. Ayachu, what about you?
I think UTK might have a really good chance, solely because they have the Chus on their team. Plus, I mean, puppies. But in terms of UTK versus UT, puppy, cow. I gotta go with puppies.
Okay, you have UTK making a Cinderella run. I appreciate it. But looking down a little bit more onto the bracket, we have NCSU versus Clemson. I'm gonna give it to NCSU just because of their standings. Up against Western Kentucky, I'm actually gonna say NCSU wins because I just don't like Western Kentucky's mascot. I'm gonna do what you do, right? I'm gonna look at the mascots and say, all right, it's called a Hilltopper, and I'm just thinking to myself, I'm not gonna get into it. I'm just gonna have NCSU go into upper bracket finals against UT.
I like the way you're thinking now. I'm rubbing up. But I agree that NCSU beating Clemson, but according to my analysis, WKU has a better chance of beating NCSU.
And that's going to be a wrap for the Southern Esports Conference pre-show. Make sure to tune in for the playoffs. It's going to be on the Twitch. That's twitch.tv/Southern Esports Conference. And consider subscribing. It's free down below. Click the button and checking out all the other Southern Esports Conference socials. With that, stay safe, stay healthy, have a nice day. Cheers!
Okay, thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye!